Well, that was kind of fucked up. Let's hope I didn't lose a whole lot of progress. Okay, I don't think I did. That's good. How rude. Shit. Don't have Cursed Claw, don't have Chameleon Hide. Okay, let's do it. On the boat.
You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Weird.
Fall Nights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though, you too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life. For as long as I can remember. They called it treatment. But in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched. Helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse. But then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Dahnan victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can
don't know.
do this. Together.
I mean, we're definitely going to wherever the last, like, leg of the game is. But I don't know if that means that the game's almost over, or if it means... Well, I mean, I guess it would almost mean that it's almost over, but I don't know how almost over. If that makes sense.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Naori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean... you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Dahnans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
These two don't mind me.
Hey,
I'm just gonna
Alphen,
interrupt
listen
the
to this!
conversation.
So Law and I were just talking, and
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a
That's
starship,
fair.
dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renan technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Seems reasonable.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renan ladder is considered superior to being a Danan. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Law's blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this Red Woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That Red Woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them.
So Lenegus isn't the planet. It's the big space station thingy.
There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegus's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're
The
here?
cool black and gold one.
We may not
How
have
do I get
received
it?
a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the Sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
Horn.
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a Sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegus would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Yeah, why not?
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall... lies a city full of Renins.
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renins actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
So like super sick ass equipment? Yeah? Maybe a dope ass merchant? Place looks like crap.
What in the world?
This being Renan territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior, too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure. The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself. Okay, Do?
Yeah, it's okay, though.
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danans poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danans among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just... unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
So,
to stop and
I've been
chat.
wondering, Do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lenegis mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Ooh. We found some strawberries. Okay. I'm a fan of the music here. Thank you so much for the fancy parfait.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
You would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent. Which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth. That Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah, that one guy even said Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danan. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that two sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it.
Curiouser and curious.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way
Yes and
things have
no.
always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single
Yeah.
citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
It's a
What
lot
if
of
she's not
cutscene and
here?
dialogue and exposition.
What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite
Called
follow.
sucking dick.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
They became JoJo's
I hope you're willing to
characters.
take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, they're sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, Why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Which Lord was burning kings use something heavy like Harold Delis. Probably not better than Balsif. A lot of people consider him to be a giant brute. Believe me, I realize him to be an aggressive man. What those people don't realize is how much he looks after members of his house. And doesn't enjoy much esteem. Yes! Blah, blah, blah. Excellency stands against meanness. His Excellency always stands up against any who mean us harm. Of that, we can be sure his efforts in the crown contest aren't only for his family, but to improve the standing of each and every member of his house. I owe much to his Excellency for never even serving another lord. Wow, it's a shame,
Balsif had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
Your return brought haste with you. You remember who I am, you must. How so far as, but specifically his lordship personally, so much so. Trying to appreciate it when I can. In fact, in planning forth my extensive writing on the subject is very terminal for all of you to enjoy, but some of the lines appear to be cut due to the recent tumult. I've been unable to upload them. I know, since you're here, I'll just read them out loud. What do you think? We're wholehearted into the thing that you, I don't gonna, who cares? Shut up. Forgot to mention anything about his lordship's love for collecting things. Oh man, I gotta do it more. Whoa. Okay. Look, you go write you tell me the final draft.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What?
What do you want to tell me, Lord Dohomina, that dreadful word only to do? You don't like serve House Valkris forever. Wow, you want to support Ganabel? I mean, at least he could use indignation. That was pretty sick. Become master of both worlds, kind of surface, next sovereign, greatest, okay. Oh, your two kids went. They're probably dead too. I mean, like a lot of people kind of got in
was
between
so
me
horrible
and him,
to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabeld also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Because he was a slow bit.
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed,
Pardon me.
Oh, okay. House Chimeras? I don't even remember who that was. Which one was the Chimeras dude? I mean, whoever it is, they're dead. Oh, Wind Lady. Whatever, dude.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
Oh, you like the guy before Volron. Damn. Damn, sucks for you.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Haros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you. Because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Now they're all dead
Yeah,
people.
but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Look at that character.
Being a
girl.
Dahnan doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Xion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust. As a fellow human being above all else.
Still can't get the damn move.
There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfrikt Milgras, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfrikt whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegus?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the sovereign that came before him.
Sounds
Now
like
that
they're
you
all
mention
dead.
it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegus from the motherland, sovereign
like,
or otherwise.
And that
Rena is a
never
fucking
struck
wasteland.
you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both.
Like,
Though we
the
are
astral
Renan by
energy could
blood,
be,
neither of us even knew that
sort of
such
like
a
a
thing as a Dark
re-terraforming
Master Core
type thing,
existed,
right?
remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
You know, maybe they siphoned all of the astral energy off their homeworld, and then the whole place kind of went to hell, and they're trying to get it back, so they're taking the astral energy from somewhere else. but in order to do that, they need a shit ton of it. So they have the crown contest, and then people go and do the whole crown contest,
Doe?
and then they die
Faria.
as the
Varia?
juice gets sucked out
Isn't
of them.
that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
You're a dumb idiot who's pissed that your boyfriend died because he came at him with a sword. Oh shit.
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
More fancy items. That doesn't look great. This game is in fact wild. You're correct. Oh, hell yeah. I'm glad that it doesn't stop getting better. Okay, I'll take that. I have a bunch of like theories and ideas floating around in my brain.
Wow, this place is beautiful.
Yeah,
And like,
it
I
must
also
be
wanna
some
stop
sort of rest
guessing
and
because I
leisure
don't
area
wanna-
for the locals.
You think?
Like,
Man,
I don't
these
wanna be
Renan
like,
sure
"Oh,
know
yeah,
how to live it up,
But so
don't they?
far, I've been pretty spot on with.
Is
With what's
something the
going on.
matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I,
Okay.
we used to
Hell
gather
yeah.
at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnagan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnagan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As
Dude,
well as
her getting
Faria's
pissed
betrothed.
off that her fucking boyfriend died because in that fight is stupid. Homeboy
Despite
came at him with a
Faria's
fucking
lower-class
sword,
upbringing,
alright?
she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnagan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
This whole bit has very much the same vibe as like
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where
Ocean.
everyone is a prisoner to their social class.
when you find out that
You
your,
really
your
are
whole
different,
world is a
Dohalim.
video game.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once.
In like the best way.
Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnagan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnagan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But
Good for her.
fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnagan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less, she would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty, instead I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renan oppression like before.
Not anymore.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But
Actually,
I
her
shall
name
do
is
my best to
Kisara.
heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Xion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
Ooh. That's fancy. Damn, these is expensive. That's pretty neat. Man, of all the times to not have all the money. Yeah, but they don't sell for a whole lot. I tried to, but like, a lot of things kind of died too fast. Yeah, I try to keep everything going as long as I can, but I also run around and look for stuff all the time, which often is how my combo meter breaks. Put 15 hours in today just to pass enough to actually hang out for a bit because this game is great. It is baffling how good this game is. and like I haven't hit a point yet where I'm like, ah, that was kind of dumb. Okay, and now I have everyone's best weapon that I can currently make.
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
If you're gonna keep talking, like the first four words of a whole statement come out unless the gist of it. I've already read the rest of the message, so skip. Yeah, I've been doing that a lot. Mostly when it gets late and like my brain starts to kind of fall apart. Now we're fine. Oh, hey, look,
Damn
you
it.
guys.
Lenegis soldiers.
Any way we can avoid fighting them?
That all depends on them. Whatever happens, be ready.
Well, so much for them not wanting to fight.
Halt! I am Lord Dohalim of Elda Menencia. I command you.
The rest of the city
I both
must be erased.
want to and don't want to
They've been brainwashed too.
finish the game.
Brainwashed or not, if they want to fight, they got one. This armor's too strong. Be my guest.
The enemy wields armor too.
We'll soon see about that. None shall escape.
Azure Storm! Demon
Let's see what I can do.
Rising Wiper! Here I come! Ignite!
Demon descent! Flashing fang!
Lunarondo is really good. There's so many fucking moves are so good.
Those soldiers seem different from the citizens we've come across so far.
Yeah, they weren't big talkers, that's for sure. They just attacked without warning.
They weren't in the least bit fazed by Dohalim's presence either.
Indeed. They seem to recognize us as enemies, nothing more. And yet,
I made an
traditionally,
accessory that
Lenegis
has
hasn't been
over
high on
100%
threats.
chance to
A
have
few
your,
frenzied Zeugles during experiments
your
here and
AC
there,
costs,
but not much else.
which is super neat.
Their glazed-over eyes reminded me of
But,
the soldiers and slaves we met back in Ganath Harros.
I wish that
The
it
ones
also
in
made
blind
all your
devotion to
one-cost arts
Volron.
free. because
I've
that'd be
never seen
fucking
anything
stupid,
like that
and I'd
here on
love it.
Lenegis before.
Maybe someone doesn't want us here, and the soldiers are their way of letting us know.
What with the Red Woman, the Sovereign, and Volron, we're starting to develop quite the growing list of adversaries. At least we'll know to keep our wits about us.
Yep. Ooh, platinum dog tag. Yeah, what is it? So like Lunarondo is fucking stupid. Void Flash combos directly into Soaring Light Spear, and you can just keep doing it over and over and over again if you keep getting your AC back off crits. So like that's dope. And then if you have an accessory that just halves the cost, they're just one cost. And then Hurricane Thrust. I've beaten whole bosses just with Hurricane Thrust. You get it from this one. Do the novice training at the thing. And you get Void Flash. It's ridiculous how good this move is. The thing that really frustrates me is that I had it and forgot. I forgot that I had the move and didn't use it for like 6 hours. And I was like, oh, I have this. Look at that. That would have been super great to remember. Also, what does Happy Bottle do? I keep not... Increases the battle chain bonus gauge. Oh. That seems good. So, like, if I use it, does it refill the gauge? Oh yeah, it does. Huh. The more you know.
Right, here goes! Rising Wyvern!
Here's a healing arm.
You're mine! Rising Wyvern! Rising Wyvern! First strike! Damn it! Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Devastation! You're
Here's a
mine!
healing art.
Demon Fang!
First aid.
Double Demon Fang!
Water.
Demon Fang! Rising Wyvern! Void Blast! I'll burn it all!
Drop. Yeah, that's right. I also have a max lucky drop accessory that I made, which is pretty dope.
Here, let me. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Here's a healing art. Oh,
Rising Wyvern!
Carve now.
Rising Wyvern!
Here we go. Radiant light.
Soaring Light Spear!
A freezing storm.
Watch this! Rising Wyvern! Soaring Light Spear!
Freezing storm. More where that came from.
Strike!
Now. Ice
Soaring Light
tornado.
Spear! Double Leap! In an instant! Impact Claw!
It's such a dumb combo, and I love it. Yeah, so I made this stamina ring that has over 100% chance to have AG cost and then AG recovery. And then I have this one that has max item drop rate. You know, because why not?
I need
Those
to
were
be
the first two
stronger.
that I made. I was like, yeah, these both make sense. Hi, Big Bug. I beat
opponent like
the
this.
rarer version of you.
It'd be easy.
Wow, you don't even have a weak point? Lame.
You're mine! Rising Wyvern! Strike!
Now this has got your name on him.
Time to cross blades! You're mine! I'm not done! Rising Wyvern! Strike! Void Blast!
Oh, you have a weakness. What is it?
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Ah, you're weak to light. I don't have that.
Here I come! No escape! Try harder! Rising
Oh,
Wyvern!
did you get meteors? Well, not meteors. Burning strike for Rinwell
Void Blast!
in the side quest.
Void Blast! Strike! Void Sword! Here I come!
You should go get it because you can cast meteor swarm with it.
Rising Wyvern! Void Blast! I have no limits! Here I come! This one's all mine!
Sleep now.
Target shout!
Lord of the stockpile.
Double Demon Fang! First strike! Devastation!
More where that came from.
Soaring Light! I'll burn it all!
At this time, I don't think it's a really good story. Damn.
Flaming Pillar! Fire!
I've done every side quest that I can. There's some that I absolutely cannot do
Not today!
because enemies I have to kill are like over level 60.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Strike!
Lunar corruption. Radiant
Mirage!
lunar blast.
Fluid!
Light astral illumination.
Try harder!
Holy
Now!
river.
Here I come!
Holy
I'm not
light.
done!
Lunar corruption. Heaven and earth. Lunar blast. A wailing Dandian lightning. Sleep now. I'm on water. I'll be saving seven. I'll tear you apart.
You must in the groove!
More where that came from.
I'm not done!
Illuminate the sun.
I have no limits! Here I come!
Talon Hurricane! See what
Don't
happened
give
there
up.
as you
A
crossed.
wailing.
Wow.
This should have done that. That's enough.
I'll be saving goodness!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous
Dohoming wouldn't have let me die.
Here we go again.
Demon
Peg! Demon Peg!
Here, let me help.
Do it!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Alright, go get some sleep. We can talk
Remember to
about
tell me.
the game later. You fuckers used all my shit already? God damn. Alright. I will. I'm sure I will. Yeah, I'm looking forward to materials. That's the thing that I think I'm the most looking forward to. Is getting cool stuff to make big shiny things.
If you need healing.
I expect you'll be in hide.
Fucking
Demand.
finally I have incineration wave.
And if that's the case,
Finally.
I won't forgive you! Here! You won't bow out nice, and you leave me no choice!
Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah!
Oh, that's dope as hell.
That's my cue!
shut him down.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your wife!
Dope.
I'm not done! Rising Wyvern! Strike! Strike! Point black! Soaring light spear! Strike! I'm not done! Carve through earth! Like steel!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished.
I wonder if we can make new weapons with this.
Yes. The answer is yes.
What's with that shining foe?
I don't know, he's a rare guy.
An opponent like this could be easy.
Now you'll learn!
No further! Here I come! No escape!
They really don't give up, do they?
You've got spirit!
Rising Wyvern!
Holy glimpse! Holy wrath!
Eat dirt!
A chain between heaven and earth.
Rising Wyvern!
A wailing dynasty of lightning. Divine savior!
You see what happened there as you crossed me?
now!
Not
Now!
should have done that!
First aid! Cross flare!
Point
Chain
black!
between heaven and earth. A wailing dynasty of lightning.
Double demon fang!
Healing
Roll now!
Far enough!
Double demon fang!
Magic is
Demon fang!
Magic is
Demon fang! All mine! Demon fang!
Do it! Now!
Oh, they're dead. They dead.
Looks like we won.
Shortcake recipe.
Those soldiers don't seem to have any qualms about attacking on sight.
Yeah, why would they?
Hi, Doodle!
I'm on it!
An instant!
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Sleep now.
Vacuum Blade!
As if the normal creature qualities are
I'm on it! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Here's a healing
Double
art!
Demon Fang!
First aid!
Incineration Blade!
All citizens here and now!
Burn! I'll tear you apart! You're mine!
By the power of water! Gemini
Acid
Aqua!
Storm! Rising Light!
Lightning!
Rising Phoenix! Now!
Arctic
Here I come!
Sealed! Healing circle!
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Good! I'll leave it to you!
Go away!
Vacuum Blade!
Eat now! No more playing nice!
Get him.
Take it! Vacuum Blade! I could do without this pain!
Here, let me help. Thunder Field! Light Astrolate! Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer!
Voice
Holy
Blast!
red!
Light!
A chain between heaven and earth!
Now I'm in the groove!
I'll hear you
You're
all!
mine! This one's all mine! Mirage! Hair! Double Demon Fang! Eternal Devastation!
Holy glimmer! Holy red! Between heaven and earth!
I'm not done!
Back into the world!
Burn in hell!
Energy of lightning!
Rise ready to go!
Moon and hair!
Persona!
Take power of water! Lightning!
Mirage! You're mine!
Shouldn't mess with me.
Rising Wiper!
By the power of
Luna
water!
Rondo! I'm on it!
Gemini Holy Land!
Blah, blah,
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Will this help now?
Swallow River!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Say less.
One still in one piece?
Yeah, what do I want to get for you? Evasion distance? Yeah. Oh, hello. How are all of you?
No
Here's
choice!
a healing art!
No further!
Vanquish darkness! First aid!
Drop it, Knuckle! Rise! Prepare to be sealed!
Instant! It's like trying to keep up with a wolf! Here, let me help! First
This
aid!
one's all mine!
Can't be the
Roll
now!
now! All good! Watch it! Eternal
Here's a
Devastation!
healing art! I can do this all
Azure
day!
Storm! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Oh, this helps
Demon Fang! Here I
Carve now
come!
through all!
I'll
Healing
I
circle!
owe you one! Not today!
Here I go!
Demon Fang!
Thanks so A whirling struggle!
Double Demon Fang!
Winds of heaven!
Incineration
Burst
Wave!
forth! Here, let me help. Sleep now.
Take this!
More resistance! Silent vortex!
Glimmer Dragon! It's over!
Raging storm! Celestial!
Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang!
Thanks!
Strike! I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
Easy.
Demon Fang! My turn! Demon Fang!
Arctic waterfall! Eat this! I'll be...
There's always room for improvement.
Lovely. You love to see it.
Gotta break through! Bring him down! This should do it! Demon Fang!
Here comes illuminate the
Blazing
dark!
Sight!
Holy river!
Between blade and fist.
A wailing fancy of lightning!
Reach out! You're mine! Not today! Here I come! Double demon fang! Incineration wave! Crush! Rising wyvern!
I'll heal you all!
You're on! It's over now!
Winds of heaven!
Roll now!
In here!
Shouldn't have messed with me.
I'll be saving this one!
Azure Storm! Azure Storm!
Lightning bolt!
Demon fang! I'm not done! Rising wyvern! Force blast! It's on! Thrust! I'm not done!
Do it!
It's on! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Strike! Oh, violent darting wind! Carve now!
Soaring light spear! Strike!
A wailing
Force
fury of
blast!
lightning!
Demon fang!
Winds of heaven! First force!
Barely a blip on our radar.
Oh, hello. Look at all these dudes.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Confiscated!
For my sword! You picked the wrong fight!
It's weakened.
I can carve through walls! It's like shield!
In here!
Rising wyvern! You're on! Damn it! Double demon fang! Totally! In an instant! Impact block! Double demon fang! Incineration wave! You're mine! I owe you one! Azure Storm! Demon fang! Double demon fang! Struck! Soaring light spear! Stardust! I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire!
Will this help?
Incineration wave! Demon fang! It's on! We did it! Demon fang!
Need to pull myself together.
I really owe you one!
In here! More for the stockpile!
I can feel my power growing!
That's a lot of money. Skeleton torture. Where do we go? Aha.
This must be it. The entrance to the Forbidden Zone.
But it's just a wall. How do we get through?
Whoa, we? I thought this was Sovereigns only.
Alphen.
Yes! It opened!
Interesting. If Alphen's presence still opens the way, it would seem the Sovereign of 3 centuries ago and now are considered one and the same.
What?
That's a lot of juice.
Alphen.
You again.
Tomorrow's the spirit channeling ceremony. We'll finally play our parts as the Sovereign and Maiden. How have you been feeling?
What am I sovereign of? Shuffled from lab to lab, always treated like an experiment. Whenever they look at me, all they see is a Dahnan. I don't even know what their precious ceremony's for. Let alone what they're going to force me to do as the Sovereign. Tell me, if we're both in the same boat, why do you seem so calm right now?
No choice. Becoming the Maiden's not something I wanted for myself. But they said Rena's prosperity depended on it. How could I say no after that?
Still, as a Renan, at least you got to decide. Good for you. Meanwhile, I was taken from my homeland. You aren't the captive one here.
It isn't right what they did to you, and I'm sorry for what it's worth. When this is over, I swear I'll help you get home. I can't do this alone. One more day.
How could I say no to that? It's not like I have any choice in the matter anyway. So, what's your name?
It's Naori. Naori Imeris. Try to remember this time.
You don't act like them. Like the other Renans, I mean. How come you treat me like a person?
Because you are. It's true we come from different worlds. But neither one of us asked to be here right now. In that sense, you and I are much the same. We couldn't do this. We wouldn't be able to talk to each other as people if we didn't see the humanity in each other. So I suppose the question you should be asking is, why wouldn't I treat you like one?
You're not like the others.
Maybe they're not like me.
Here's what we'll do. We give them their damn ceremony. You get me to Dahna. That'll be the end of it. I'm taking you at your word on this. I'm trusting you, not them. Naori.
What the hell just happened?
That vision. Did everyone else see it too?
That person Alphen was speaking to, she looked exactly like Shion.
It was Naori. Naori Imeris. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right.
She really does look like Shion. I'm beginning to see why Alphen was so confused.
That's all very well and fine, but what did we just witness exactly? It was too real to be a mere hallucination.
It was a conversation we had 300 years ago. The night before the ceremony.
You mean all of that really happened? We just saw an episode straight out of your past?
But how is that even possible? Unless... Could this be the Red Woman's handiwork too?
No, I don't think so.
Why not?
You guys didn't feel it? The moment the entrance opened, it was like a stream of Dahnan astral energy rushing over us.
I felt it too. And not for the first time either. It was the same sensation as back inside the wedge.
That would make sense. After all, vast amounts of Dahna's astral energy were being siphoned and sent up here to Lenegis. For all we know, perhaps we're close to the spot where all that energy was stored.
So you think it might have been the energy itself that was responsible for that vision we just saw? But how? And why?
We have no way of knowing. Maybe it's not even as deliberate as all that.
Shion, you okay?
Yeah. It was all just a little sudden. That's all. So that was my ancestor, huh? It was like looking into a mirror.
Yeah, there certainly is a resemblance.
What about you? How are you holding up?
Me?
Even putting aside the question of where that vision came from, it's likely we'll see more of those. Reliving painful episodes from your past. Do you think you can handle it?
I can't just pretend like the past never happened. Besides, if it helps us uncover the truth of what that ceremony really was, it might also lead to answers about your thorns.
Alphen.
That's not all. This whole time, we've been fighting to free Dana from the Renans. But now that we're here, it seems those same Renans might have it just as bad. I'd like to liberate them too if I can. Which is just another reason I can't afford to shield my eyes from the truth.
Whether you're on Dana or somewhere else, you always stay the same. Your indignation and righteous passion, your desire to free and protect, they're all hardwired into you. Not that I'm complaining. Come on, let's bust this thing wide open.
Nobody's here.
Stay sharp. After that last illusion, there's no telling what could happen in here.
All right, before this combat and likely exposition dump, I'm gonna go potty. I'll be right back. Yep, she's been
Faria,
possessed.
how did you get in here?
Wait, something about her isn't right.
What's wrong with her? She doesn't even seem to know where she is.
Yeah, you're right. She looks just like the soldiers we encountered outside.
Okay. I like
A
your big blue
summoning?
hat.
But that's preposterous. She never had that kind of power when—
We can talk later. Here it comes!
What? I've never known
Thalia to control Zoogles like that before?
How about with a stone that looks suspiciously like a master core?
Where did she get our hands on that?
First we handle the Zoogles, then we get some answers.
Go for the weak point!
Watch this!
Strike! Force Flash! Try harder! My turn!
Into the sky!
It was
My
nice while it
turn!
lasted.
You're mine! I'm not done!
Here! Seal!
Strike!
Will this help?
Void Flash!
I'll be saving this one!
Strike!
I'm on it! That's
Void
enough!
Flash!
I'll tear you
You're
apart!
finished!
That's fun.
Devastation!
Now I'm in the groove!
Corruption! Gemini Aqua! Mega Ray! In here! Searing Flare!
Watch this! Try this! This one's all mine!
Glacial Spear! Pierce Evil!
Burn in hell!
Swallow dance!
Keep charging us!
That's what my shield's for.
Get behind me!
Good! I'll leave it to you!
An instant!
Soaring Light Spear! Demon Fang! You may be strong, but I'll never back down!
Feeling something between heaven and earth! Pull myself
Now I'm
together.
real mad!
Try harder!
I'll tear you apart!
Need to pull myself together. Mega Ray!
Watch this!
By the power of God!
Rising Wyvern! For this!
I'll crush you!
Didn't she?
Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Rising Wyvern! Take this!
Off my focus!
Ice Tornado! May 1,000 gales carry you to track!
Swallow dance!
Double Demon Fang! Incineration Wave!
Pierce!
Demon Fang!
Lightning! Death!
Inspiration!
I
Take
could do
this!
this all day!
Now, while it's reeling!
Take it down!
Demon Fang!
Here!
Rising Wyvern! Soaring Light Spear!
Radiant Star!
You're mine! Eat this! Rising Wyvern!
Astral Energy!
Say no more!
Here, let me help.
You're mine! I'm not done!
One more! One more!
Void Flash! Strike! Void Flash!
Seal!
Take this!
Swallow
Yes!
Grab!
Ruin
Here
Kick!
comes something big!
Try to dodge! Confiscate!
I could do this all day!
Rolling Snap! Where would that came from? Healing Circle!
Swallow dance!
Double Demon Fang!
Cut forth!
I'm on it!
Holy Lens!
Demon Fang!
Came between heaven and earth! Ray!
Here I
And
go!
wailing Dandy of
Rising
Lightning!
Wyvern!
I could do this all day! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! First strike!
Take this!
First aid! Winds of heaven! Mega Ray!
Take this!
By the power of water! Seal!
Rising Wyvern! It's on!
By the power
I could
of
do this
water!
all day!
Gusty Gale!
Ignite!
Gemini Aqua! All day!
Swallow dance!
Rising Wyvern!
Radiant Star! Power
Void Flash!
Here comes!
You're mine!
Rip and tear!
Void
Take
Flash!
on a roll
My
now!
Astral Energy!
Inspiration! I could do this all day!
Demon Fang!
Inspiration! I could do this all day!
Demon Fang! Try harder! Now! Here I come!
Healing Circle!
Demon Fang!
Just playing!
I'm on it!
Purge Malevolence! Waterfall! In here! I'll be saving this one! Are you alright?
I'll be okay.
I said
Why do they just stand in everything?
Don't get carried away.
Resuscitation! Crossblade!
Demon Fang!
Burn in hell!
Double Demon Fang!
I could do this all day.
Incineration Wave! Here I come! There! You're mine! I'm not! It's gonna attack!
Right, watch out!
Now
You're
I'm in the
finished!
groove.
Rising Wyvern! Demon Fang!
Why do they just stand in everything?
You pay for that! Double Demon!
Yeah.
you back from death's abyss! Holy land! Between heaven and earth. Bring you back from death's abyss. A wailing banshee of light ready! By the power of water! Where are you going?
Demon Fang!
Master Heat! Rolling
Try harder!
healing arc! Holy land!
Do it!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
That was it? That was the whole boss? Okay.
Now it's just her! Faria, can you hear me? Faria!
She's preparing another summoning!
The art she's casting is way too powerful to control. At this rate, her body won't be able to take much more. Dohalim!
Forgive me.
Man, I thought we were goners.
Everything okay?
Yes. She's only unconscious.
Not her. I meant you.
He's probably been better.
Shion, please. Can you treat her?
I can try, but
Just a guess.
I can't promise she'll be back to her real self when she wakes up. All I can do is heal her physically.
We're not even supposed to be in here. Maybe it'd be better if we moved her to somewhere a little safer. Don't you think?
In that case...
I'll take her off your hands.
You?
Avakir, what are you doing here?
I was curious what you were up to, so I took the liberty of following you to find out. I overheard what you said about Tarnigan, about how he really died. I'm sorry, I had no idea.
And you believed me? What makes you so sure I wasn't lying?
I like to think I know you a little better than that, Dohalim. Give me some credit. I'll take Faria. Leave her with me. I know better than to ask what you're up to. But whatever it is, I hope it all works out.
Thank you.
He seems like a good friend.
He hasn't changed. He never was one to stand out. Instead, he was always hanging back, worrying about everyone else. As for Faria, it's always the closest to me who get hurt.
You don't seriously blame yourself for what happened to her, do you?
Somebody got to her, to strike back at me. Someone who knew me well enough to know that I'd hesitate to fight back. And the same goes for you as well. Neither you nor Faria would have lost loved ones, if it wasn't for me.
You're wrong. Kelzelik was the one who killed my brother, under orders from Almeidria. As for Tarnigan, if it weren't for the crown contest, he'd still be alive. That and the whole damn hierarchy that makes it possible. But that's why we're fighting. To put an end to this whole messed up system that treats people as expendable.
Indeed. Ridding society of this blight is really the only way I know how to atone for my sins.
You can't atone, Dohalim. I know it hurts to hear, but those people are dead. No amount of soul-searching or trying to make amends is going to change that. Forgiveness, acceptance, those ships have sailed.
So I just forget the harm I caused?
No, the opposite, in fact. You remember. You never forget. You keep it in your heart always. And then you go on living. Not for those already past, but for those still alive.
For those still alive.
Kisara's right. So long as we've still got breath in our bodies, we can make a difference in the lives of others. Lives being the operative word.
That's what living's all about. Being able to still make a difference. Punishing yourself for the past won't make the pain of your conscience go away.
Only fixing the problem in its stead. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. You have to live for tomorrow, Dohalim, not for yesterday. And not only that, you need to live for yourself, and for the change that you still can be.
I shall try.
Don't forget, we've still got a mystery to solve. The Forbidden Zone, remember?
Shion.
Huh?
Thank you. You have my deepest gratitude for what you did for Faria.
Glad to be of service.
I'm glad we could stop Faria without hurting her.
You all did much for her as well.
Do you think Faria was really being controlled by someone?
Yes.
Certainly seemed that way. The question is, who? The Red Woman?
Yes.
The same person who's behind all of this, I'll bet. Whoever that is.
Yeah.
Brainwashed or otherwise, the feelings of resentment she holds towards me are real.
Someone used her because they knew we'd hold back. If that's not playing dirty, I don't know what is.
It does tell us one thing at least. Someone here in Lenegis is watching us. Someone who means us harm.
There's no question. That attack was meant for us alone.
By someone capable of getting inside a person and manipulating them like a weapon. We need to find whoever it is, fast.
What is it, Rinwell? Do you hear something again?
Yeah. It's that voice.
The will of Dana's astral energy.
What? There's so much astral energy. But where's it all coming from? It's almost like it's alive.
Absolutely part of the Uchiha plan. It's the only way it makes sense.
That was the spirit channeling ceremony just now. No, it was more than that.
What the hell was that? It felt like everything was on the brink of... like the whole world was seconds from...
Oblivion. It's the same vision as the one my thorns show me. A vision of impenetrable darkness that swallows up us and everything else.
An empty void. A nothing so complete and dominating that there aren't even words to describe it. The end of time.
The visions of the apocalypse you've been seeing. If I'd known how bad they were,
So, everything we just saw, those were Naori's memories, right?
That's right. It was as if her innermost thoughts were speaking directly to us.
Oh.
At least I know they weren't mine.
That sucks.
That power flowing into her. It reminds me of Shion's thorns. If they're what's responsible for all these visions she's been having, then maybe...
Maybe my
that would do
thorns
it,
are
yeah.
made from that same astral energy?
If that is the case,
Gotta go hit
we
the Reddit.
just
start
found the
sucking
missing
dick.
link between your thorns and what happened here 3 centuries ago. No, more than a link. Perhaps even the very heart of the matter.
I've never felt astral energy so powerful. What was that?
If it's the same energy your thorns are made of, it must be dark astral energy, right? And isn't that something only Renans have?
Correct. Dark astral energy is possessed by Renans alone.
And when enough astral energy gathers together, it develops its own form of sentience. If so, maybe that complete oblivion is exactly what the Renan astral energy's will is wishing for. But why?
I don't know. Will can be a pretty vague thing to nail down. It's more of a feeling, just like the will of Dana.
But the will of Dana is made up of astral energy too, right? And if that's what's been showing us these visions... I don't know, should we really be getting so involved with this thing?
Dana's will would never want oblivion.
But you can't say that for sure!
Cut it out, you two. Squabbling over theories will get us nowhere.
Let's keep moving. If it's Dana's will showing us these memories, then I'm as clueless about its motives as any one of us. But if it could lead us to the truth, then I want to find out more.
Shion's right. All we can do is keep going. If these really are Naori's memories we're watching, there could be truths in them I was never aware of. And I think they may be the kinds of truths I need to confront if we're going to keep fighting.
I'm sorry about what I said earlier. Come on, let's go.
Finally, we begin to understand what the thorns are.
Yes, and their source. A ceremony that occurred 3 centuries ago.
But we still don't know how to get rid of them. I just hope we can find a way. Soon, we might very well learn the truth behind Shion's thorns, as well as my own past. I have to be ready to face anything. Whatever happens. I just need a little time first. I want to make sure I go into whatever comes next completely prepared.
That vision we saw, it was as if it was meant specifically for us.
What do you make of it? Do you still think the will of Dana might be involved somehow?
Maybe it's trying to tell us something. But what?
Well, it could be supernatural. You know, like seeing dead people, messages from beyond the grave, ghost-type stuff.
That's your grand theory? That we're being haunted? Come on, Law.
Wait. He might be closer to the mark than you think. What if a person's thoughts and deeds were to somehow become indelibly etched into the ether of a place? And what if those with a connection could then somehow pick up on them?
You think that's what it was? Some kind of message someone left here for us?
I am merely entertaining the possibility. Whether it was Dana's will, or somehow connected to the Sovereign and Maiden's powers, I do not know.
Okay, back up a sec.
Makes about as much sense
You're
as I
saying that if a place is full of enough astral energy, it can somehow show us events that happened centuries ago?
Yeah, why not?
More to the point, how does that much astral energy gather in one place anyway? Seems unlikely it happened naturally.
Whatever it was, it survived here intact for 300 years. Whoever left it for us, the strength of their intent is beyond doubt.
The strength of their intent. Soon, I have to be ready to face anything. I just... Soon, I have to be ready to face. I'm determined. Hold up, you guys.
What is it?
I want to look through that room over there. I'm curious what we'll find.
That's the room you visited in your past, right? Sure. We can check it out. This looks like some kind of research facility.
A laboratory secreted away in the Forbidden Zone. Why am I past being surprised at this point?
Looks pretty deserted.
Let's check it out. It might give us a new lead.
For the people of Lenegis, the Forbidden Zone is the stuff of dreams. Yet here I am, standing within its hallowed halls.
It's off limits even for lords, then? Talk about an exclusive club.
Being exclusive is one thing, but how many important facilities let in only the Sovereign? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Strange doesn't cover it. If it was only one room, maybe. But a place on this scale? How do they keep it from falling into ruin? Whoever the Sovereign is, they can't manage the upkeep of this whole place themselves.
Did no one ever talk about it when you were growing up?
No, not that I can remember. Then again, Sovereigns and Forbidden Zones weren't exactly breakfast table conversations.
The Forbidden Zone is a
Definitely more of a
hallowed
lunchtime
place,
thing.
at one with the Sovereign's authority, grounds of the one true ruler who presides over all Renans. That is what we believed this place to be. No, what we were made to believe it was. But now, it is finally time to discover this area's true purpose, and why it was kept hidden behind the scenes for so long. I think I can make this work.
Well, can you make head or tail of it?
These are experiment records, by the looks of it. Reams of them, dating back hundreds of years. Let's see. A composite being capable of controlling Dahnan astral energy, so as to convert its molecular and elemental makeup. The creation of a governing central figure, taking the form of a Dahnan. Codename Sovereign.
Sovereign!
Wait,
that is
there's
what he
more.
said.
Research into utilizing force field crystals for the purpose of stable astral energy containment. That must be the Master Cores. With all this raw data, there's bound to be records here somewhere about the Maiden and the Lords, too.
About the Lords? Why would they be on there?
Think about it. The Lord's crests are clearly of a piece with those of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. Not to mention the fact that the contenders to the crown are selected from otherwise regular Renan citizens. In other words, it may be that all Renans are unwittingly being made subject to some kind of grand scheme.
What about the Sovereign? Does it say anything else?
Where do I start? All I've read so far is the headlines. There's so much here. To sift through all of it would require specialized... Wait.
What is it? Did you find something?
It's a list
Search
of names, with the title, Test Subjects, Sovereign. It's your call.
Read it.
There must be dozens of test subjects listed here. Hundreds even. All of them failures. Wait, I think I've found one that was successful. Test subject number 1273. Ethnicity, NA. Unique adjustment index, generation, NA. Given name, Alphen.
What are you surprised about? You knew that.
They re-engineered me. Right here in this lab.
Alphen.
fine, really. What about the others? Was I the only one?
Test subject number 10105. Ethnicity, NA. Unique Adjustment Index, Generation, NA. Given name, Volron.
Volron? But that means...
He's only sovereign because someone made him that way too.
He's the last one. In 3 centuries worth of records, you and Volron are the only 2 subjects on whom the experiment was a success.
But what about the winners of the crown contests? Does this mean that none of them were ever crowned sovereign after all?
Upon victory, the Sovereign shall return to Rena and rule over Rena and Lenegis combined. When a new Sovereign is decided, the outgoing monarch shall relinquish their post and live out the rest of their days on Rena. So we were told. But according to these records, there have only ever been 2 Sovereigns, neither of whom had anything to do with the crown contest.
Kinda did.
It's all lies, including the part about the Sovereign residing in Rena. The crown contest was never about deciding a new ruler. It must always have been devised for some other purpose.
But even supposing that's true, someone must have been in charge for the past 3 centuries, right? If it wasn't the Sovereign, then who was it?
Crown contests have been held this whole time, in spite of the fact that there was already a Sovereign. Me. Meaning that for the past 300 years, someone out there has to have been maintaining that lie. The same person I'm willing to bet is behind all this.
The Red Woman?
It's possible. But that doesn't necessarily mean she's the mastermind behind this scheme. She could be working for someone else. Someone back on the Renan homeworld.
Either way, it's fair to say she's definitely involved somehow.
What about the data records? Is there no other information that could help us?
Not that I can see. Just file upon file of experiment results. There's nothing here about who's behind all this, or what their endgame is, unfortunately. I've barely managed to scratch the surface, mind you. You won't be able to read through it all, but you're welcome to take a look through what you can, while we're here.
I'll do that.
So this is where Alphen became the Sovereign. Only 2 Sovereigns in over 300 years. So why has the experiment only succeeded twice in all the... Was there really no other way?
Dohalim.
Forgive me.
Alphen.
I'm fine, but it's strange. I've got all this rage inside of me, but I don't even know who it's for.
If that were to happen, then No. Then...
Yeah, we wouldn't just sit by and watch you...
That's right. Nope.
If you ever start to lose your way, you can count on us to guide you back.
And I would be happy to lend an attentive ear, should you ever have need.
Possess equal affinity with the astral. However, such aptitude is statistically rare to uncover within real-world conditions. As a result, most help such a tie during adjustment period. Instability is still not guaranteed for those who survive it. This inability, coupled with the Sovereign's powers of astral manipulation, pose high risk to the security of Lenegis if left unchecked. As such, stabilization measures must be put in place via support mechanism when utilizing the Sovereign in the Spirit Channeling Ceremony. Addendum 1. No effective alternate method to perform the ceremony been found. Trials on done subjects are authorized to continue. Unit 2. Adjustments are a success. Subsequent adjustments are to be put on hold while extended observation takes place. Maiden acts as a support mechanism for spirit channeling ceremony. Each one is granted level 2 authority and an ID crest. Renan subject serves its functions, providing the Sovereign with supplemental dark astral it lacks in tandem with the Renus Alma. During the ceremony, it's partially responsible for astral energy conversion as well as maintaining stability over the Sovereign's own powers. Additionally, a degree of intimacy between it and the Sovereign have been observed to positively impact the level of stability in both subjects. Because of this, trial activations of the Sovereign without the Maiden present are expressly forbidden. Furthermore, neither the Sovereign nor the Maiden are to be informed about the details of the spirit channeling plan. Mental instability in the Maiden has been deemed the cause of the past Sovereign's rampancy. Countermeasures must be considered. In line with plan adjustments, current subject will have its Maiden registration revoked and be returned to its original household. Large-scale astral energy converter primarily converts elemental composition of Danet's astral energy to transmit to Rena. Activation to control the astral energy conversion is achieved by placing the Sovereign Maiden and Renus Alma within the central core of Lenegus. Comprised of classified and essential and is essential personnel. It's comprised of classified and essential personnel residence zones around a large conduit, along with a defensive layer surrounding them. Outer layers deployed upon activation, unlocking the central conduit while simultaneously functioning as a stabilization mechanism. Due to design, deployment of the outer layer is expected to cause damage to residential zones. However, because that only takes place during the final stage of the ceremony, no contingency plan to address said damage is needed. Until that phase, Lenegus serves as the central base of operations for the management and execution of the Crown Conquest on Dana. Any personnel with level 3 authority or lower are forbidden from the classified zone. Any violators will be immediately executed. Massive vessel placed on Dana for channeling ceremony serves the tip of Lineage's conduit. On landing, extends 2 sets of conducting pathways. The vertical pathway connects to the center of Dana. Horizontal pathway proceeds to envelop the entire surface of Dana. Once activated, it links to the biological spirit vessels placed in each realm, effectively harvesting the planet's actual energy and mass. The accumulated energy is then transmitted to Rena via mechanism. Because construction and adjustment take place in the Forbidden Zone's regulatory area, Lenegus's outer layer must be deployed prior to launch. Intended function: semi-autonomously. Only maintenance personnel are expected to manually interface when necessary. No other personnel is required. The Attachable Harvester 1 was lost on Dana after exploding due to the rampancy exhibited by the Sovereign. The Attachable Harvester 2 landing point will remain the same as the previous model. This is due to the explosion by the previous model, which altered the planetary topography, enabling easier connection with the center of Dana. So they stopped making the mask, and only Volron did the brainwashy thing. The area will be shut down as the project proceeds to its final phase. When I get structures, you can see pipes for transmitting astral energy sticking out of them. Room's equipment hasn't been used in a long time, but it's still gathering all the data. Master cores contain astral energy, 6 elements, 5 of them. Lucy's earth, water, fire, and light were loaned to Ren and Lords at the time of the crown contest. Only the dark core is maintained inside the Forbidden Zone while Ren is almost ready to be reformed. Its existence is kept top secret. Underneath the Master Core's spherical outer layer, force field crystal used for energy stabilization inside stored to a dormant state. In the event of an emergency, each Lord may be allowed to withdraw from their respective stock of astral energy as necessary. However, the extent allowed is determined based on their own individual strength. Design flaws have been discovered in how Renaissance materializes. Be advised that active Master Cores may resonate with other Master Cores located in close proximity and become unstable. Due to the regeneration of Renaissance, Master Cores cease to be deployed. Crown Contest has been permanently halted. Spirit Cores, connection to the body, physical activity, emitted from the host body, emitted energy is diffused in host body. Okay. Planets must be employed to harvest the energy. Spirit cores can be embedded in zoos to control them. Increased physical load on a host body tends to produce increased astral energy emission. Ideal workload to impose host body without inducing death for maximum astral energy yields is still pending. That makes sense. Each contest, 5 of the best qualified members of the Renan populace were chosen to act as Lord. Applying to serve as the next sovereign. During their tenure, they are granted level 3 authority, as well as one of the 5 astral elemental realms to administer. Decrest. Selection process based off artistry as well as physical and mental aptitude. Only the strongest. Lords aren't the only individuals capable of drawing out power. All Renans take part in the selection process. In the event that an acting Lord is incapacitated, can no longer serve in their position, or replacement must be quickly prepared. Following was reported on the second successful case of the Sovereign Thing. Volron. High latent potential exhibits significant mental instability along with strong distaste for following orders. Failure. Interesting. Can I take these trees? No, I can't. Okay. No, that's fine. I didn't really want the trees anyway. Looks like logs of alignment between subjects and Lenegus. Oh hey, this was the room. Well, that's new. I'll take 3 life bottles.
Naori,
Don't talk. I have to do this. I gave you my word that I'd help you return to Dana. The next time you open your eyes, you'll be home.
But you...
My place is here with my people. I still have a duty to fulfill. I'm sorry for what you've endured. Rena never should have dragged you into this. It's not your burden to bear.
But...
The mask contains a sedative. It should keep your mind from tearing itself apart any further. Let yourself go to sleep. This should help with the pain. Time to go, Elfin. Farewell.
Naori.
His injuries are worse than I thought. Short-term treatment isn't going to cut it. I'll have to switch the healing pod to long-term hibernation mode. The chance of surviving hibernation's less than 10%? And worse, long-term use of the mask carries a high risk of damaging his mind and nervous system. But... If I don't head back, Lenegis will be nothing but ashes, and this starship along with it. I don't know if I can fulfill my promise to you, Alphen. But if doing this will grant you even the slightest chance, I have to try. I hope it's enough. Please, live for me, Alphen.
That vision. It must have been from when Naori helped Alphen escape Lenegis.
She sure went above and beyond the call of duty.
Even with Lenegis crumbling down around her, she chose to stay put with her people.
So that's why you lost your memories and sense of pain, and why you were asleep for that whole time. It was all the result of one agonizing decision Naori made to save your life.
Yeah. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't even be alive today. I owe her everything. More than I could ever hope to repay.
Now that you know how she felt, how do you plan on honoring her wishes?
She kept her promise. If the Renan people she fought so desperately to protect are at risk from a malevolent force, then I owe it to her to carry on her fight. Naori was the one who put that mask on me, and made me Iron Mask.
She did it to prevent your soul from tearing itself apart. She knew you might lose your memories and sense of pain. As a result. But more than anything, she wanted you to survive. And you did.
Well, that looks like a bad time.
This place. We've seen this in one of Naori's memories.
Of course. After 300 years, this is where it was held. The spirit channeling ceremony. This is where the Renis Alma was.
So this is the place where you and Naori...
The Renis Alma isn't here now. Nor is the Red Woman, it seems.
I know it's difficult, Alphen, but there will be time to dwell on the past later. For now, we need to keep moving. Come on.
Naori.
What is this? Is it the work of Dana's will again?
It's been a year since the ceremony. That day, I shut away inside of myself the power that caused Alphen to lose control. Since then, my visions of the future have grown more and more fearsome.
Is this another memory? No, it's different this time. It's like she's speaking directly to us.
What we did back then. Not so much as a day passes when I don't think about it. About what was done to us. All in the name of a ceremony. The purpose of which we were never even told. As Sovereign, they linked Alphen's consciousness to Lenegis itself. The Renis Alma was intended to control his power, lest anything should slip through its cracks. That day, as Maiden, my role was to temper his power. I was meant to guide it forth, and give shape to the strength inside of him.
Linked to Lenegis itself? But then, everything that's been happening...
But that power showed me a vision. A vision of oblivion. When I realized that vision was a prophecy of the apocalypse we were about to unleash, I couldn't go through with it. But without a maiden, the ceremony was doomed. Alphen lashed out, his consciousness no longer his own. I did what I could. Using my abilities as the maiden, I tried to seal that power away inside of me. But it was too late. Lenegis had already been brought to its knees. Thousands upon thousands of lives so cruelly snuffed out. All because of me. Because of what I had done. With the destructive force now slumbering inside of me, I knew I had to find a way to dispose of it. Anything to make up for my failure. But I didn't know how. Especially since that power was astral energy itself. In which case, ironically enough, the Renis Alma seemed to be my best bet. That, at least, would hold the astral energy dormant. Assuming that no malevolent third party got to it first. With the Sovereign and Maiden's combined power, perhaps I could shift the chaotic energy inside me into the Renis Alma instead. That's what I hoped, but alas, it was not to be. The Renis Alma was lost, and Alphen, the Sovereign, was in a starship bound for Dana. My only choice was to seal away the destructive force inside of me using my powers as the Maiden, to buy the world what little time I could. The time needed for a new Renis Alma to be crafted, and for a new Sovereign to appear. Even if by doing so, it meant I would be passing the curse on to my descendants as well. Please, forgive me. I never meant to burden the future world with this threat too. I only wish that there was something more I could have done.
Wait, you can't just...
Naori.
That message just now, was it directly from Naori? Or was it the Dahnan voice speaking through her?
What?
These are the clothes that Naori and I wore during the ceremony 3 centuries ago.
So you're saying this is the Maiden's outfit?
That's right. These clothes are designed to resonate with the Sovereign and Maiden's abilities. They focus and enhance them.
And they appeared now because...
Naori must have left them here for the new Sovereign and Maiden, knowing the day would come when they would need them in their fight against the Thorns.
These outfits are directly linked to the answers we've been chasing this whole time. If they're here, it must mean it was Naori's will for us to find those answers as well.
Locating the Renis Alma would allow us to neutralize the dark astral energy inside Shion, thereby silencing her thorns. Is that what Naori's suggesting?
It makes sense. After all, Master Cores and Spirit Vessels are both able to prevent the astral energy inside them from developing sentience. By that logic, it would stand to reason that the Renis Alma would have the same ability on a larger scale.
We have a Maiden and Sovereign. Now all we need is the Renis Alma, and we'll finally be able to free you of your thorns. Shion.
It's possible? You really think so?
I do. We can rid you of your thorns and stop the world from falling to oblivion.
However, the spirit channeling ceremony already failed once. Even if our goal is different this time, we can't be sure the same thing won't happen again. We should take care not to be too optimistic.
You're right. It's the barest sliver of a chance. But if there's even the slightest hope it can work, I'm willing to stake everything I've got on it.
I know it's too early to let myself feel relieved, but I just can't seem to help it. Just hearing there's the slightest chance, even though I know the world's still in great peril. It's selfish of me, I know, but still.
No, it isn't. You found hope to believe in. It'd be strange if you weren't over the moon about it.
Rinwell's right. We can rid you of your curse and still save the world at the same time.
Thank you. Naori entrusted us with the fate of all humanity. Now, it's up to us to prove that trust was well placed.
Starting with a little game called Hunt the Renis Alma.
Yeah, we've come all this way. Now we just need to search Lenegis and Rena until we find it.
Yeah, we can protect the world and save Shion at the same time.
I too shall lend my services. My knowledge of Renan lore is bound to be a useful asset.
And they say modesty is dead.
I don't think they say that. But okay.
Miracles just seem to follow wherever you go, huh?
How do you know it's me they're following? We're all in this together, Shion. You included. Now let's get moving, shall we? Last I heard, we had an apocalypse to stop. Thank you, Naori. So Naori sealed away the power that made me lose control of myself. She stopped my rampage and saved my life. But then, that power she'd sealed away was passed down to you. I'm so sorry, Shion. It's my fault that you're cursed.
You're wrong. What happened to you was because of the ceremony, and Naori's attempt to stop Oblivion. You paid a heavy price for it, and then fell asleep for 300 years. The reason you lost your memories
is the reason for your curse.
The thorns.
It all leads back to them. But once they're gone, we can finally put an end to all this.
When my thorns are gone, I never dared to dream that such a thing could be possible. No, the truth is, I think maybe I've always been dreaming about a life without my thorns. The touch of my family, or playing with my friends, holding hands with Rinwell, or giving Law a deserved smack, embracing everyone. All the normal things that people do together. I always wished I could experience them for myself, and finally know what they were like. Is it really okay for me to believe it can happen? I'm so scared of getting my hopes up. What if it doesn't work out in the end, and...
That's not going to happen. I'm here to make sure it won't. Forget fate or destiny or anything else. We're going to live a normal life. There are a lot of things you still want to do, right?
Yeah, you're right. It's such a strange feeling. I know that we've still got plenty of fighting up ahead, and it's for my sake, so I can live.
You're worth fighting for.
I believe you, Alphen.
Good. I'll keep on fighting. For as long as it takes. Until our future is finally in our hands.
If the thorns were passed down through the generations, how did they have kids? Claudio Parthalis.
Right. Sounds like this Naori chick had quite the big heart.
Her position demanded nothing less. From the sound of things, she didn't focus on differences, least of all those between Renans and Danans.
Yeah. It was Naori who first showed me that such a thing was even possible. And then she saved my life by sending me back home to Dana.
Not only that, but she willingly stayed behind on Lenegis for the sake of her people. It sounds like she was quite the hero, all right. A truly caring person.
It's as if walls meant nothing to her. The one separating the Renans from the Danans, or herself from others. She had no need for them.
Which basically meant that she never had anything to break down in the first place, huh?
You inherited that
Don't I know it?
She's kind of like a lodestar guiding our way.
That's quite some door, all right. This might finally be it. The heart of the beast.
We'll find the Renis Alma and the Red Woman inside, right?
After everything we've been through to get here, they damn well better be.
We'll probably be needing you to open this one for us, Sovereign.
Go for it, Alphen.
This is it, guys. Time to see what secrets are in store.
We're a long way from the residential quarters now. It looks completely different.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, this place... it reminds me more of being back inside the Wedge.
Except the Dahnan astral energy feels even stronger here.
In a portion of the city reserved purely for the Renin Sovereign.
Maybe he just has strange tastes?
This place looks like it has been here for quite some time now. If its design were a matter of personal preference, we would be talking from centuries ago. Or perhaps even further back. Still, this isn't the sort of decadence of taste spoken of in artistic circles. So what is it then?
Hold up, decadence? Artistic circles?
When a preference is indulged to its extreme, it descends into kitsch, eccentricity for the sake of it. I'd be happy to illuminate you further.
That depends. Does it involve you buying me lunch?
The void that art fills isn't the stomach, it's the soul.
In that case, I'll let you know the next time my soul starts to rumble.
Now all we need is something to fill up the void inside your head.
Shut up!
Damn.
Volron! He really was still alive.
Alive-ish.
And there's the Renis Alma. Then, is this another spirit channeling ceremony?
Wait, though. Something doesn't seem right here.
Once more, the powers must be united. Born from the fires of chaos, the world does seek its rightful state. All must be sacrificed in the heart of Rena, at the shrine of the true sovereign.
What has happened to him? He's lost himself, reduced to a mere cog in a machine.
Hey, look! Over there!
Hitting.
Isn't that the Maiden's crest?
Can it be that this entire chamber is meant to act as a substitute for the Maiden?
It looks like it's still running, but... are we already too late to stop the ceremony?
Not too
That's
late.
what caused
Never
Lenegis'
too late.
transformation. And the purpose of the ceremony must have been to drain all the astral energy out of Dahna.
But for what purpose? What could possibly need astral energy on that sort of scale?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'll bet it's connected to those visions of oblivion. Regardless, we cannot stand by and let them steal Dahna's energy. That said, we should retrieve the Renis Alma. Because right now, we need that most of all.
He's not gonna lunge at us out of nowhere, right?
Not the time, Law.
Alphen, look!
The Red Woman! So we finally found you. I have a lot of questions for you.
Wait!
What?
They all have the same
makes
face? How is that even possible?
That also makes sense.
Are they even people?
It's hard to know for sure, but I think they're the true rulers of Rena.
They're not feeling particularly talkative.
It's no use, Elton. If we don't fight, we may as well be sitting ducks here.
Good point. Let's stop them before this gets out of hand. Demon Fang! You're mine! Storm! Freaking justice! Raging Storm! Double Demon Fang! Incineration Wave! Take this! Burn it hell! Eagle Shot! Azure Storm! There! By the power of water! Try harder! Not a chance! Crush! Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Try harder! Not a chance! Crush! I'll smash you! You're mine! Demon Fang! First aid! Demon Fang! Double Demon Fang! Inspiration! Devastation! Soaring Light Spear! I'll burn it all! Flaming Pillar! Fire! Demon Fang! Not my finest! You'll pay for that! Can't get out of this! You're mine! Demon! Demon Fang! No place for water! Here's my call! Down on the ground! Here's the evil! You're mine! Demon Fang! Here I come! Burn it down! Take this! No escape! Devastation! Take this! Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
In here! I'll be saving Radiant Pierce!
Soaring Light Spear!
Ready and ready! Reload!
You're on! Outline you with Force Blast! Strike!
More for the healing
Double Demon Fang!
Raging Storm!
Take this! Thanks!
Celestial Hammer! I hear the evil!
You're on!
Freeze Blade!
Rising Wyvern! On your Demon Fang! Here I come! No escape! Azure Storm!
Holy land!
Demon Fang! It's on! Feel my weary Incineration Wave! You're mine!
A whirling power of water!
I'm not done! Devastate!
More for the
You're mine! Eat this!
Here!
Double Demon Fang!
None shall escape my judgment!
Bloody howling!
Raging Storm! Here's evil!
Demon Fang!
Come forth! Holy Glimmer! Holy Land! Gemini Aqua! Chain between heaven and earth! By the power of water! A wailing Banshee of lightning!
On your knees! Strike now! You're mine! I'm not done! Rising Wyvern! Illusion!
Holy Glimmer! Holy Land!
Soda!
Between heaven and earth! None
This
shall
one's
escape
all
my
mine!
judgment!
Azure Storm!
A wailing Banshee
Not
of
today!
lightning! Ray!
Down on Demon Fang! No! Can't end here!
Don't give up!
Cure!
Is this some punishment?
May a thousand gales tear to shreds!
I owe you one.
No rest for the wicked.
Demon Fang!
Mega Ray!
Try harder! Not a chance!
This world!
Crush!
Celestial Hammer!
Try execution! Force Blast! Ripping you apart! Demon Fang! This should do it! Demon Fang!
Healing circle! Chain between heaven and earth!
Sorry, trouble.
You do the same for me.
No escape!
Here's a healing arc! Raging Storm!
Demon Fang! Here I come! Here I come!
Lightning.
Demon Fang!
There!
Double Demon Fang!
Vanquish darkness!
Incineration Wave! Elusive Deity! This should do it! Here I Try harder! My turn! Demon Blast! Eternal Devastation! Crush! Incineration Wave! Penumbra! Soaring Blast! Crush! Thanks!
My natural defenses are fading. I'm a sitting duck.
Retreat from this battle.
Retreat? No. I would never.
Can't end here!
Positioning is apparently not my strong suit.
Forgive me. This is my...
No more playing nice. Here's a healing arc.
Begin! Force Blast! Searing Gale! Demon Fang! This should do it! Demon Fang! Hits all! Explosive Ray! Eat this! Demon Fang! Incineration Wave! Here I come!
Let us take to the fray.
Stardust!
Let us take to the fray. More with that. Now!
Rimmer!
Astral energy!
Say no more.
Nailed it.
Surrender! Fighting is useless now!
Do you think it's really over?
Absolutely not.
Astral energy. Watch out! They've got something up their sleeve!
What? It's self-destructed?
Alphen!
I'm okay. Just a little roughed up.
You had me worried there.
See, Volron still being there?
Who said
Why you
you
double
could
tap?
touch that?
Should have gone for the
Damn it!
decat.
He's awake!
Got a decat.
I should have thought as much.
So you know this place?
Naturally, it was built for me, after all. We'll save that for another time. More pressing is how I'm going to tear you apart.
Even after all this time, you still insist on hating me?
You cut me down. Sovereign or not, you will pay for that.
You're obviously bluffing. You can't even move right now.
Could have just shot him instead.
Really, is that what you think? Did you really think that such a petty device could hold me?
Are you going to claim it's because you're a ruler? Be it sovereigns or lords. In the end, they're all titles given by someone else.
Plus, what kind of ruler would spend all his time chasing Alf, who happens to be another sovereign?
Idle prattle. I proved my worth and the Sovereign's powers were granted to me.
Were they really? We already know the title of Sovereign doesn't denote royalty. It is but an overblown codename for those with a designated part to play in these proceedings. You mentioned before that you were not the only one stolen from Dana, correct?
Yeah. There were countless. And every one of them besides me died.
All of those failed experiments, and they still kept going back to Dana. There must have been some vital reason their subject had to specifically be a Danan. Then there were the records we found in the library, for you and Volron. They were logged 300 years apart, and yet the data they took from you was exactly the same. Which leads us to a single conclusion.
Then you mean Boran was kidnapped just like Alphen? But then he became a
slave from Dana. Just like us. Isn't that right, Volron?
Yep.
So he posed as a Renan and caused all that suffering to his own people?
How could you? If you knew the pain of being a slave, why would you inflict that upon others?
Renan and Danan are meaningless distinctions. Me and everyone else. That is all that matters. others. I will stand
makes
above
sense.
all others and take what is rightfully mine, starting with this.
A red woman?
Another one? Give your master back on Rena this message. No one makes a fool of me. Let them know I'll make them suffer.
Don't do it!
Serenus Alma!
It's too late. You can't stay here.
We need to go. Alpha!
Go.
Go. But know I will be your shadow no matter where you try to run.
Let's go.
Never forget, I am the one who devours everything. Who answers to neither spirit nor man. My word is law. I am.
Are you
Yeah,
two
if we
okay?
don't see a body, I don't
Yeah.
buy it.
We'll be fine.
Is Volron... Have we finally seen the last of him?
We can but hope.
Those red women. What the heck was their deal?
Could they be the ones behind all this? The same ones who put those soldiers in Faria in a trance?
What? Those brainless things? Either way, they've done a runner with the Renis Alma. Damn it, that's the second time now!
Whatever's stolen from us, we'll steal it back. The future's ours to protect. And right now, those things are what's standing in our way. We can head them off at Rena.
Did you say Rena?
Volron mentioned a master of theirs holed up in the Motherland somewhere.
If that monstrous form's their true identity, I shudder to think who they take orders from.
Yeah. There's a good chance it's not human. That's for sure.
So this thing over on Rena, that's what's really behind all this, huh?
They have the Renis Alma in their grasp already, so it's unlikely they'll have cause to return to Dana. I agree that Rena's our best shot.
Then we're agreed. Let's head back to the starship.
But seriously, I was not expecting Volron to actually be here.
He seemed to care not one whit about...
I didn't see that coming about Volron. As for those red women, to think they were monsters all along.
Tell me about it. One minute they look perfect.
They definitely weren't Renan or Danon. I'm not even sure Lang...
So what were they then?
Is the most terrifying thing.
How about you, Shion? Dohalim?
No, never. However, if they're the same as the red woman we've seen with
I had just so much I wanted to ask them.
Unfortunately, they blew themselves up before we got the chance. Why would they do so?
Both sound plausible to my ears.
Yeah, they did. And the
Those look like they should be doors, and yet they are not. Really?
Now you'll learn! Incineration Wave! Escape!
I'll punch that gun out of your hand!
Blazer Spear! Pierce evil!
The enemy wields arms too.
We'll soon see about that!
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Burn in hell!
In here! I can't hear you forever!
Incineration Wave! I'm not done! Eternal Devastation! Eternal Devastation!
In here!
Eternal Devastation! Listen! Demon Fang!
Take this!
It's over! Take this!
One more!
Strike! Soaring Light Spear!
Do it!
Here I come! I'm not done!
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll
I'll
stop
stop
your
your
life!
A whirling struggle!
Demon Fang!
Winds of heaven!
Double Demon Fang! Incineration Wave!
I'll finish you here and now!
I'm not done!
I'm reaching my limit, you guys.
Damn. Guess we better be extra careful.
Right, here goes!
A whirling struggle!
Demon Fang!
Instant!
This
Winds
one's
of
all
heaven!
mine!
Glimmer
Double Demon Fang!
I'll finish you here and now!
Here I come!
All fixing!
Escape!
Come to an end!
Ignite! One more that should all burn out! Azure Storm!
Sleep now!
Azure Storm!
Do it! This one's got your name on it!
Action to action.
Here, let me
Demon
have
Fang!
it.
Rising Riser!
Watch it! Celestial!
Slice!
Ice prison!
Soaring Light Spear!
Celestial!
Devastation!
Eat this!
Devastation!
Blow away!
Sweet dreams!
Take this! Demon Fang!
Dead Glacial Spear! Here's the evil!
I'm not done! Demon Fang!
Now I'm in the groove!
You're mine! Strike! Double Demon Fang!
Blow away!
Soaring Light Spear!
You see what happened there as you crossed me? Shouldn't have done that. Now I'm in the groove!
Here I come! I'm not done! You're finished!
Eagle Assault!
Strike!
Now!
Void Flash! Strike! Here I come! Demon Fang!
Super Swallow Dance!
Do it! Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
just trying to leave. Don't chase on my account, please.
What the? When did it get pitch dark all of a sudden?
The lights are all out. Think it has something to do with the explosion back in the Forbidden Zone?
Joe?
You two.
Faria, Avakir. Thank goodness you're safe.
Avakir filled me in about everything. About how I ambushed you all.
She doesn't remember a thing, so she really was being controlled.
He told me about Tarnigan, too. Is it true?
What difference does it make? What's done is done.
Stop casting me off, just for once!
Faria, not now. It can wait. Dohalim, Lenegis is in grave peril.
So I can see.
It's the city's core reactor. It's damaged. Some of the basic systems we've managed to keep online, but complete restoration's still a way off.
You're an elite technician, though. You can fix it, right?
If so, then what's the problem?
Panic's begun to set in among the citizens. Until now, whenever something like this happened, the Sovereign would issue a decree. But this time, not so much as a peep. Any longer, and we run the risk of riots breaking out before we can get things back up and running.
Forget the Sovereign. I doubt you'll be hearing from him anytime soon.
What's that supposed to mean? Do you know something I don't?
Suffice it to say, the Sovereign isn't the kind of ruler we thought he was. That is, if he ever even existed, which is looking doubtful at this stage.
Are you out of your mind? Why, if people knew that a lord such as yourself was whispering such blasphemy, they'd—
There's no time to explain now. It sounds like we need to find a way to keep Lenegis from spiraling out of control.
We need to stop that riot.
But how do we do that?
Riots feed on discontent and unrest, right? So if we want to keep the peace, we just need to put people's minds at ease.
At ease? Like by letting them hear directly from someone they trust. That's it. Who's the highest-ranking person in Lenegis right now?
Lenegis wouldn't have a next in line. After all, you said the Sovereign rules over everyone directly, right?
Correct. The closest thing to an authority figure would be a lord. And the only one left is... Ah. Very well then. Avakir, you mentioned a few facilities were still online. Which ones?
Why hasn't the Sovereign said anything?
Please, won't somebody explain what's going on?
Is it over? What's going to happen to all of us?
Heed me now, fellow Renans of Lenegis. It is I, Lord Dohalim Ilkaris of Eldaman and Sia.
Look, up there! It's Lord Dohalim!
Hold on! He should be in the crown contest! Shouldn't he? Why isn't the Sovereign talking to us?
The Sovereign is seeing to other matters right now. In my capacity as Lord, I speak to you in his stead. You're afraid. As people so often are when faced with the unknown. I hope you'll allow me to put your fears to rest. The city's core reactor has experienced a malfunction. However, we have our top engineers attending to the matter, and things will soon be back to normal. I know that you feel abandoned, perhaps more scared and alone than ever before. But I ask you all to keep one thing in mind. You are Lenegis, not the Lords and Sovereign. The solidarity of its citizens is the mortar that holds it together. If we don't allow ourselves to be distracted by our differences, if we put our hearts and minds together and stand as one, I am confident we will find new hope. I would be honored to stand with you. Not as a person of loftier rank, but as another human being among many. I hope that you'll lend me your strength, for if we can persevere as one, I know a bright tomorrow awaits.
That timing though, am I right? Damn.
Your speech seems to have done the trick. Looks like the city won't be descending into chaos after all.
I only pray the relief will tide the city over for the time being.
What you said earlier, about the Sovereign possibly not even existing, was it true?
It's still too premature to say with any certainty, but I believe so. This whole time, this world we've been fed was a lie, built on nothing but falsehoods.
But it can't all have been...
I can believe it. After everything I saw in the Forbidden Zone, what they did to Faria, it's the only explanation that makes sense.
But what about hierarchy, Avakir? Authority? The very foundations of Renan society? How can we live without someone to guide us?
I'd say we found someone capable of doing just that, wouldn't you?
You? You can't be serious.
I have business I must take care of first. But once everything is over, I shall return. But not as your sovereign, nor as a leader the likes of which the people here are used to, I think.
But how else do you propose to rule?
I'm not sure yet. All I have is a feeling that here in Lenegis, a new dawn is on the verge of breaking. One in which people won't be judged by birthright or on the power of their astral arts, but on other things. More important things. Things like, oh, I don't know, musical talent, for example.
When I bumped into you after all those years, I said you were no different. But I was wrong. Truth is, you were always different. I feel like maybe now I can finally begin to accept Turnagain's death. To see a future.
You go finish whatever it is you've got to do. I'll hold down the fort here in Lenegis till you get back.
Thank you.
I guess you're not going to make it to Menancia for the foreseeable future, huh?
Indeed. Forgive me.
The people of Elda Menancia can look after themselves just fine. It's the ones here on Lenegis who need someone to guide them. Besides, with you leading the people here, it'll help spread the idea of coexistence beyond Menancia's borders that much faster.
Sounds like you're in it for the long haul.
How could I not be, after the second chance that I've been granted? From this day forth, I shall dedicate myself to the future inhabitants of this world. Though the memories of the departed shall remain forever in my heart.
Remember, you're going to be leading the people here, not ruling them.
True enough. Whatever would I do without you, Kisara?
With or without her, I suspect you're gonna have your hands full when the time comes. We should be heading back to the ship. Business on Rena awaits. Looks like the people of Lenegis can rest easy.
I think that's a good place to stop, yeah? I'm gonna make dinner. I'll be back tomorrow. What day is it? Thursday now? Okay. I'll be back tomorrow with more Tales of Arise, possibly the end. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Thank you everybody for coming to hang out. I really appreciate it. And I will talk to you all next time.